I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer, no more than the poet can help the inspiration to sing. These are the final words of a man who possessed a calm face, blue eyes, and a charming smile. A man who appeared to be a respected doctor, but behind closed doors, he was the architect of hell. We go back to 1893, Chicago, where millions flocked to the White City to glimpse the future. But right in the shadow of this brilliance, a man was building his own, Black City, a hotel where guests checked in with a smile, but never, ever checked out. Today, on Apex Crime, we unroll the forbidden blueprints of a building whose sole purpose was suffering, death, and profit. This is the story of H.H. Holmes.
Herman Webster Mudgett, who later chose the name Dr. Henry Howard Holmes, was no ordinary young man. He arrived in Chicago in 1886, smart, handsome, and dangerously charming. He started working at a pharmacy in the Englewood neighborhood. Wealthy women were fascinated by his politeness and poise. But the owner of the pharmacy, an old widow, suddenly disappeared mysteriously, and Holmes became the owner of everything. But he was more ambitious than that. He knew the world's Columbian Exposition was coming. He saw an opportunity no one else saw. Thousands of lonely tourists with pockets full of money looking for a place to sleep. So he bought the land across from the pharmacy to build his masterpiece. Locals called it the castle, but they didn't know that this castle had no king, but an executioner.
The construction of this hotel was one of the strangest projects in history. Holmes behaved bizarrely. He hired hundreds of workers and contractors, but as soon as the walls were up, he fired everyone. Why? Because he had a maniacal paranoia. He wanted no living soul but himself to know the full layout. The building was 3 stories high. The first floor, classy shops to keep up appearances. But the second and third floors were a true labyrinth. Imagine walking down a hallway that suddenly narrows. You see stairs that lead to the ceiling. You open doors only to find solid brick walls behind them. These were not architectural mistakes. These were traps. The goal was simple. If a victim tried to escape, they would get lost and fall like a rat in a trap.
Let us dare to peek into the guest rooms, stylish rooms with excellent furniture. But one thing is missing: a window. Holmes built rooms that were completely soundproof. If someone screamed, shrieked, or begged in there, no one on the busy streets of Chicago would hear a thing. Some rooms were equipped with hidden gas pipes. Holmes could sit comfortably in his own bedroom and, with the turn of a valve on the wall, release deadly gas into the guest's room. He could control the slow death of his guest without even getting up from his chair. But the most terrifying part: the body disposal system. He built large chutes and secret elevators in the walls that opened in the rooms and ended straight in hell. The basement.
The basement of the castle was the absolute realm of the devil. Down here was where Holmes removed the mask of the kind doctor. down here were medical dissection tables, rusty surgical instruments, and large vats of acid. Holmes was not just a killer. He was a businessman. He didn't just throw away the bodies of his victims. With his medical skills, he stripped the flesh from the bones, cleaned the skeletons, and sold them for high prices to medical schools. Just imagine, medical students were learning anatomy on skeletons that just days before were living, breathing women. No one asked where these skeletons came from. To Holmes, human beings were just raw material for profit. There were also large cremation kilns to turn whatever couldn't be sold into smoke and ash.
Who were his victims? Julia Connor, Emmeline Cigrand, Minnie Williams, all young, beautiful, and lonely women who were captivated by Holmes' charisma. But Holmes' downfall was not due to murder, but greed. After the World's Fair ended, he set fire to the hotel to collect insurance money. He fled and started scams in other cities. He even killed his partner in crime, Benjamin Kitzel, and kidnapped his 3 young children. Detective Frank Geyer tracked him like a shadow. When he found the children's bodies, the world realized what monster they were dealing with. When police finally entered the Chicago castle, they faced a scene that terrified even veteran detectives. The basement was full of human bones, bloody clothes, and women's shoes.
H.H. Holmes was captured. He made strange confessions. Sometimes he claimed he killed 2 people, sometimes 200. On May 7, 1896, he was hanged. But even his will was terrifying. He requested his body be buried in concrete. Do you know why? Because he was afraid. He was afraid someone would steal his body and dissect it. Exactly what he had done to dozens of his victims. The Castle of Death burned down. Holmes died, but the fear remained. The story of Holmes is an eternal lesson for us, that sometimes monsters don't have sharp teeth. Sometimes the monster is a gentleman in a fine suit, with a kind smile, who simply invites you into a comfortable room.
Craving more true crime history? Click subscribe. We explore the darkest minds in history. Next episode coming soon.